So this is a scary one, literally titled, Sweating, Scary and Traumatizing. Hi, Pete. So I just got scammed. Here I was, minding my own business, almost to the Wendy's to pick up an order for Finn when I got a phone call. The man said he was from DoorDash, and I was not to pick up the Wendy's order because it had been ordered with a stolen credit card. He said he needed to verify my identity because there were Dashers that were conspiring with the criminals to steal money from people's credit cards, $50 to $100 for a tip. I pulled over and felt awful because I wasn't sure if it was a scam or real. The man said that if I didn't verify my identity, I would be deactivated. I gambled and gave him my passwords. Oh my God. For both DoorDash and Dasher Direct. He sent me text messages that looked official and from DoorDash with a link to dasherhelps.net. Oh my God. He freakishly knew all the stats about my Dasher history, my ratings, and the car I drive. He kept saying my password wasn't correct and he was going to deactivate me. I transferred the money from my Dasher Direct account to my bank account while I was on the phone with him in case it was a scam and he was getting ready to steal it. Then the man abruptly hung up. That part was good, that you transfer the money. I believe that's a good thing. I called DoorDash support, and of course it was a scam. I changed all my passwords, and hopefully that took care of it. Then, right after I hung up with DoorDash, I got the exact same Wendy's order for Finn. I guess that's the name. And the guy called me again. I hung up and called DoorDash, and they took the info and the time I had screenshots. It was very scary not knowing the right thing to do and not knowing how he hacked my app. I'm attaching screenshots, and here's the link to the fake DoorDash support hack, dasherhelps.net. So let everyone know that someone is hacking the app and sending orders and then calling you to get the passwords. And this is from Janet Stegman. Janet, so here's what's happening here, okay? I've seen this happen to Dashers before. Firstly, don't ever give your password to anyone that claims they work for DoorDash. They will not ever ask you for your password. Never, never, ever, 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 never, ever. Okay? Firstly. So, they're not hacking the app. The person named Finn or whatever is the scammer. So what happens is they'll make like a dummy DoorDash account. They'll put in an order for some place. This place happened to be Wendy's. So they wait for a Dasher to pick up the order and be on the way. Then they have access to text you or call you. So they could pretend and say, hi, I'm so-and-so from DoorDash. This order was placed with a stolen credit card. We need to verify your identity, blah, 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 blah. And someone like yourself that thinks it sounds official, you'll give your information, and you did. And I'm glad that you knew to transfer all your money out right away, just in case. And I think that was a smart thing to do, because then at least the transfer was already to your bank account. Because what happens is they go in, they try and change all your information so you can't log back in. And then they switch your bank account to their bank account. And within 7 days, they can pull the money out. So for everybody watching, if anyone ever does this to you, call DoorDash. Hang up with these people. Call DoorDash. Let them reassign the order. Or if you really want to reassign it yourself and have your completion rate drop, that's completely up to you. But Janet, I'm glad in the end everything worked out. But now you've learned the lesson. You know, you made a mistake and you learned from it. You know, luckily you were not financially harmed. Thank God. But yeah, so everyone, this is a big learning experience. But yes, a lot of people have been scamming doing this, and it's messed up to screw people out of their money. So with that being said, drivers and Dashers, for one, has this ever happened to you? Two, have you ever had anyone else do some sort of scam to you? Put it down below in the chat or the comments. So this comes from Charlene. So they said, hi Pete, my name is Charlene Pitcher, but everyone calls me Char. Every time I'm in the middle of a delivery, the app crashes while I have a customer's order in my possession, and I have to restart it 2 to 3 times before I can get it to work again so I can complete my deliveries. It gets so frustrating sometimes it makes me want to rip my hair out. I have no idea why it keeps doing that. Any ideas as to why the app seems to crash while I'm dashing? So This, I'm assuming, is DoorDash related because that's pretty common. So, a couple of things, Charlene. First and foremost, how long have you been dashing for? Just kind of curious. Because if you're just noticing this now, I'm assuming you are a relatively newer dasher, maybe within the last 6 months to a year. Could be wrong. But a couple of things can cause the app crashes, the app crashing or crashing. Anyway, basically when you are on a delivery and if the app just shuts off, like literally just closes and you have to reopen it again, sometimes that can be an error on DoorDash's end, but sometimes it can also be an error with your phone. Now, you didn't specify what kind of phone you have, but on an iPhone or an Android or Galaxy or whatever, you always want to try and have the most updated software on your phone so that whenever you're running the apps like DoorDash, GrubHub, or Uber Eats, you know, everything's up to date and, you know, everything should be working okay on your end so that you can at least, with troubleshooting, you can at least rule that out. But a lot of times it's just an issue on DoorDash's end or GrubHub or Uber Eats end where, you know, let's say they're doing an update and they mess something up, a file is corrupted or whatever, something having to do with the connection to them and to everyone's phones or everyone's driver app could be having some problems and a system overload or something like that, or there's a glitch in the system and it could cause your app to crash and it's not even your fault. Most times it probably isn't your fault. So I'm assuming if you have your phone completely up to date, it's probably an issue on DoorDash's end. So just reach out to them, support@DoorDash.com, send them an email or give them a call on their number that you would normally call for order issues and, you know, let them know what's going on and they can maybe guide you. Sometimes those support agents are helpful, sometimes they're not. This was sent to me from Roshan Vance. Roshan's been watching the channel for a while, so huge shout out to him. Thank you so much for sharing this. Not good, guys. I mean, does that surprise you? It really, this article right here really hones in and focuses on how the delivery apps that we work on every day, DoorDash, GrubHub, and Uber Eats, were like saviors during the beginning stages of the pandemic. But now, they're not really being seen in that kind of light. And check this out. Meal delivery services became essential during the beginning of the pandemic when millions of Americans were under lockdown and restaurants were shut to visitors. But these days, the platforms are increasingly finding themselves under fire with politicians seeking to regulate the industry and restaurateurs accusing the likes of DoorDash, GrubHub, and Uber Eats of freeloading, and they are looking for ways to do without them. In just the first 9 months of this year, DoorDash has likely filled over 1 billion orders, most of them in the United States, where the company is market leader. But Matthew Palombino, founder of the New York-based pizza chain Motorino, calls the boost provided by delivery apps a big illusion because more orders don't bring bigger profits to restaurants. When you receive 30 or 40 orders a day, you're happy, but the problem is that it does not translate into profits, Palombino said. Food delivery services can charge restaurant fees for up to 30% of the bill for a meal, according to their websites. And I've talked about this before. To address that problem, in August, the New York City Council passed a law capping third-party delivery fees at 15%. Remember that? Small businesses should not be pressured into accepting these fees in order to remain viable and competitive, said New York City Councilman Francisco Moya, who initiated the bill. A similar law was passed in San Francisco in June. Food delivery giants have challenged the laws in court, and some analysts think they have a point. We believe DoorDash will have a strong legal case against the permanent fee caps, Bank of America said in a research note last month. DoorDash, GrubHub, and Uber Eats argue that the cap is unconstitutional and that restaurants are free to negotiate their commissions with delivery platforms. The delivery giants also say they have made huge investments during the pandemic that led millions of customers who had never ordered meals online to get started. And DoorDash says that restaurants that used its platform during the pandemic had a survival rate 8 times higher than the industry average. The company also says that even before the laws were passed, it already offered a 15% fee formula. But Palombino, the pizza chain founder, is unconvinced. The problem is that they have become so established that there no longer is a way back, he said. If you're not on Seamless, one of the most popular delivery services in New York, you no longer exist. And just so you know, Seamless and GrubHub are one in the same. As for the 15% commission, Palombino said that a successful restaurant can only hope for a profit margin of 15 or 20%. So at the end of the day, they take it all. Yep. This is what a lot of restaurants are dealing with right now. In court, the food delivery platforms have argued that the cap will trigger higher fees for consumers who have been relatively spared for now. Colin Wallace, managing director of the marketing firm Zero Storefront and former head of innovation at GrubHub, says that so far it's the restaurants who have had to bend. The only way to get this resolved is going to be by the technology platforms using the same engineering and innovation they use to get their companies to this point, Wallace said. Some businesses are already trying to get around the all-powerful delivery apps by creating their own platforms. And I just spoke about this with Jersey Mike's. One such startup, Chow Now, helps restaurants launch their own order-taking applications so as to not have to pay any commissions at all. Another company, Loco, Tampa Bay, I told you about this one, creates delivery cooperatives owned by restaurants where they get to choose their own commissions, often half of what delivery giants charge, said Loco founder John Sewell. Sewell himself, an owner of a restaurant in Iowa, added that this arrangement also allows restaurants to keep their clients' data to themselves. Loco has franchises in Virginia, Nevada, and Nebraska, is looking to expand further. But Sewell admits that the concept is not easy to sell. It's difficult to get people convinced that they need to start to work as a collective, but Sewell added, to me, that's the only real solution. So what does everyone think about this, guys? Down below in the comments or in the chat. Do you think that these companies that we work on are in trouble because of this kind of stuff, or do you think they're going to continue to dominate the industry? Let me know your thoughts down below.